All right, so people are asking the question, is Chris Rock planning to sue Will Smith based off Chris's location in a certain business in the US, along with a statement he made at one of his recent shows? So, it was stated that sometime last week, I believe somewhere in New York, Chris Rock was spotted having a meeting inside one of the biggest litigation law firms in the United States, and Chris Rock has become a new client of said firm. Now, all the specific details, of course, have not been released yet, but the source has been saying whatever was going on in the meeting, it was big given the number of lawyers at the meeting Chris Rock was at. So, this news could mean that Chris Rock could possibly be looking to not only sue Will Smith, but the Academy Awards. I stated this in my other videos, most recently the one about Will's 10-year suspension. It's the fact that I'm more baffled at the actions of the Academy as opposed to Will Smith. Don't get me wrong, I'm still shocked by the events of what happened that night. You know, I'm not going to say traumatized like some people who just throw the word around like it's nothing, but I was just shocked, surprised, and disappointed. Because despite the slap, because, you know, obviously the joke and whatever Jada did during that 7-second time jump where we went from her rolling her eyes back to Chris, I was just wondering, where the hell was security? Why was Will Smith allowed to stay there and go on with the show like nothing happened? But it was stated by Will Packer, and this is the part that had me going, okay. So, this is coming from Deadline. Will Packer, who spoke directly to Smith in the minutes following the slap, was dealing with the conversation that happened after Smith slapped Chris Rock on stage. Chris Rock told Will Packer he did not want to press charges. Had he chosen to do so, the LAPD would have removed Smith and arrested him. However, and this is it, okay. So, had Will Packer actually asked Rock if he wanted Smith removed from the building, he might have gotten a different answer we hear. But if you go back to the article, or the interview, excuse me, when Will Packer was talking with GMA, he said, he told Good Morning America that the decision to force Smith fell in the hands of the victim, Chris Rock. And then it also goes on to say, as to whether the police were about to physically remove Will Smith, Will said, I wasn't part of those conversations. Chris Rock made it clear that he didn't want to make a bad situation worse. All I'm saying is this. The Academy could have delayed the show just long enough during a commercial break that when Tyler and Denzel Washington and his publicist or whoever were coddling him, trying to calm him down, he could have been removed from the building right then and there. And then have the show come back and it's like, where's Will? Obviously he's gone. I don't know. This just seemed, since when is the victim of an assault the one who is given the power to decide whether or not the assaulter is allowed to stay in their presence? You know, especially in a room full of witnesses and a world who was watching what happened go down. My biggest thing is, Chris Rock, and I've been saying this since it happened, applauds and, you know, just a standing ovation to him. Yeah, bigger standing ovation to the one Will got accepting his damn award. For maintaining his composure, trying to keep things as civil as possible, all things considered. I would be more pissed off at the Academy than Will Smith. I know that seems weird, but just to feel like, hey, the Academy, you know, put me in this position to do this job. I did my job, and then I got assaulted. And then the fact that the people in charge were like, well, hey, do you want him removed from the building? No, the Academy, fine, if Chris Rock didn't want to have him arrested or press charges, that's one thing. But the Academy not taking the initiative to get rid of the assaulter, I think is bullshit. And you allow him to get on the stage again. and you allow him to give a speech long and will have that speech aired longer than anyone else's speech, it was all for ratings. I don't care what you say, because I believe that it was stated that ratings wise, this was the next to lowest rated Oscars until after the slap and everybody tuned in. This was ridiculous. I think it was handled poorly. I don't care what kind of apology the Academy has made. I don't think, as far as I know, because, you know, everything has been released to the public, what has the Academy done for Chris Rock? I want to know what those conversations were like. What did they do for Chris Rock when he got off stage after presenting the award for Questlove? And all we saw were the people rushing over to Will Smith, but how's Chris Rock? And during his recent appearance on tour, he stated that he's not talking about the slap because of the fact that, what did he say? Oh, here we go. I'm okay. I have a whole show in reference to his current show, the Ego Death World Tour. And I'm not talking about that night that I got slapped until I get paid. He goes on to say, life is good. I got my hearing back. So, you know, he talks about it in a funny way about how, you know, you slap, ears ringing, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a question of what does it mean to double talk until I get paid? Is he referencing like, hey, I'm going to do a whole show like a tour talking, or maybe even a special talking about that slap in the incident? Or perhaps he's talking about until I get paid in regards to him filing a lawsuit, you know? So I'm just saying, I feel like I'm no expert in this, but I think if somebody says I'm not pressing charges, that doesn't mean they can't change their mind. So I feel like Chris has done the smart move by holding his cards tight, talking to those behind the scenes, trying to figure out what the best move is. Because to be completely honest, if I were him, I don't think I'd want to host the Academy Awards anymore unless certain caveats are in place. Because put it this way, if you were on an airline and, you know, they just reassured you everything will be okay, everything will be fine, but then, you know, of course, if something, a natural disaster happened, like a out of nowhere storm or anything like that occurred, that's different than, the plane I was flying on with this airline, you know, there were some technical issues, some of the machinery wasn't working properly, or when the oxygen mask needed to come down to help once we reached a certain altitude or whatever, my side of the plane wasn't working correctly. Yeah, those kind of things would make you not want to fly with that airline anymore. You'd rather take the bus or go with a different airline completely. Same thing if you go to a restaurant. You know, if you go and you see a long piece of hair on your burger or on your salad, you don't want to eat there anymore. You go to another one. I feel like if Chris Rock were to ever host the Oscars again, there better be some sort of, you know, fence around the damn stage, or, you know, just something to secure his safety. Because I feel like, you know, he was given the job to go out on stage, and, you know, he pretty much trusted the Academy would have his back, but the Academy ain't do a damn thing. If you ask me, it felt like they allowed the slap to go down, and then they gave Will a pedestal where he got his award and everything, and Chris Rock was just, you know, slapped. So, you know what, Chris? I mean, again, I would sue everybody. Like, I think Earthquake said it best in his interview with the Breakfast Club. And I'll go ahead and I think I might play that at the beginning of this video if I'm not too lazy to edit it and find it. But he said it best, where it's like, I would sue Will, I'd sue the Academy, I'd sue ABC. Because if you could delay the foul language and whatnot that Will Smith was using, you could have delayed the slap. But nope, you wanted it live for the sake of ratings. So, Chris Rock, I'm just, what gets me are the people who try to say that Chris Rock is using this for his own career and whatnot. Chris Rock is a famous comedian prior to the slap. Sure, he's benefiting from it in some ways, from the ticket sales and whatnot and the notoriety, but at the same time, Chris Rock wasn't a bum before this went down. So that's all I gotta say. So Chris, I'd say, Chris, I hope you sue everybody, and I hope you win. Get what you deserve, for real. Like, I don't care how people feel about the joke. Assaulting someone like that and people trying to make excuses for Will Smith and whatnot is bullshit. So that's all I gotta say. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I know with Chris Rock, I can't wait to hear his comedic take on this. I really can't. This should be good. All right, guys. So hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit subscribe and hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel.